你配不上我，我直说的，我说你配不上我，所以说我不愿意跟你交往。然后
你觉得他配不上你？
他1.62米，我说他配不上我，然后他又好像是个无业游民，很脏很臭。
他年纪多大？
说我看他们40多岁，他描述是30多岁，反正看着都是很老，不管30多40多，我90后的。
When approached by a suitor, this young woman born in the 92nd didn't hesitate for a second to give the most direct answer possible. "You're not on my level," she said bluntly. But after all, what happened for her to respond like that? According to reports, Xiao Yin, from Hangzhou, works as a dispatcher at a public transportation company and, in her free time, usually takes on some lighter temporary jobs. After all, everyone likes to make some extra cash, except when that extra comes with a walking problem attached. A few days ago, while doing a side job at a newly opened restaurant, she met Mr. Zhu, who was also working there as a temp. At first, he was extremely friendly, yes, the kind of friendliness that seems normal, but later you realize it was just the trailer for the horror movie to come. According to her, he added me on WeChat and, from then on, kept following me, she said, already showing some impatience. I had already told him that I liked to be alone and didn't want him following me, that each of us should mind our own business, but he kept following me anyway, she complained, visibly irritated. Xiao Yin was clear as crystal. She wasn't interested. She rejected him directly. But, as everyone knows, some people think no just means try a little harder, and that's when the drama begins. She thought that once the temp job ended, she'd never see that face again. But the next day, "You're not on my level. I'm saying it straight. I told you you're not on my level, so I don't want to be in a relationship with you," she repeated, now with no patience left. And she added, with the bluntness of someone unafraid of backlash, "He's 1.62 meters tall, seems unemployed, dirty, smelly. And, look, to me he looks over 40. Even if people say he's in his 30s, he looks old either way. I'm from the 92nd generation," she said, throwing out the words like someone who's had enough. Even so, Zhu didn't get the message. The next morning, the bombardment began. "Have you eaten? What are you doing? Are you busy? When are we going out? Be my girlfriend," he insisted, without a shred of shame, as if self-confidence were a superpower. Tired of this B-movie level stalking, Xiao Yin blocked his WeChat and his phone number. But the guy didn't give up. He started sending her text messages instead. If I didn't reply, he'd send me a message every few minutes. Every day, dozens of messages. I've already received hundreds, all asking me to add him on WeChat and be his girlfriend, she said, with a nervous laugh. And, as if that weren't enough, he decided to take things further. He began spreading rumors and defaming her online. According to Xiao Yin, he said, "She's a scammer. She owes 10,000 yuan and won't pay." People I know started asking me if it was true. Some even asked how much I charged for a night, she said, outraged. Yeah, the internet and clueless people are always an explosive mix. These rumors reached her friends, damaging her work and personal life, causing misunderstandings that only reinforce a sad truth. A woman's reputation is still much more fragile than it should be. To try to resolve the situation, reporters contacted the number, sending the messages. "Is this Mr. Zhu?" asked the reporter. "No, I'm not Zhu," replied the man, trying to play innocent. He claimed to be a friend who had lent the SIM card to Zhu for a few days, but had already taken it back. Conveniently, he knew nothing about the messages or the defamation. Xiao Yin, of course, didn't believe a word. She went straight to the police. The report states that with police intervention, this drama might finally come to an end. But here's the narrator's note. Relationships are a two-way street. When someone says no, the best answer is, "Okay, good luck." Not a festival of messages, rumors, and attacks. Because, let's be honest, persistence might sometimes win someone over, but stalking and defamation, those only win you a police report. And you? What do you think of this story? Does no still need subtitles for some people to understand? You can't paint this story as if there were a hero and a villain. But you also can't pretend the beginning wasn't a direct attack. Let's be real. He approached her, and she could have simply said, "I'm not interested," and moved on with her life. But she didn't. She chose to throw his height, appearance, supposed unemployment in his face, and even spice it up with, "You're dirty and you smell bad." That's not honesty, that's humiliation. And when you humiliate someone, especially someone who clearly doesn't have the emotional maturity to handle it, the chances of creating a problem are huge. I'm not saying he was right in anything he did afterward, because turning rejection into stalking, defamation, and spam is pathetic. But I'm also not going to pretend she was just a poor, unsuspecting victim. The truth is, in that very first no, she didn't just close the door, she slammed it in his face and caught his fingers in the hinges. And yes, he reacted in the worst possible way, lowering himself, burning his own reputation, and showing exactly the kind of man he is. But she was the one who lit the fuse. This isn't a defense of him, it's just a reminder that words have weight. She wanted to hit his ego, and she succeeded. The problem is, when you aim there, you'd better be ready for the reaction. And in his case, that reaction was ugly, obsessive, and completely disproportionate. The most ironic part is that, in the end, they both lost. She now has to deal with a flood of messages, rumors, and people asking how much for the night. He, on the other hand, has become the living example of a guy who can't take no and decides to get revenge like a bitter teenager. And who won? Only the internet, sitting back and watching the circus burn. This story is a perfect example of what happens when both sides lack self-control. On one side, someone who doesn't hold back when rejecting. On the other, someone who doesn't know how to lose and goes straight for the low blows. Respect here was zero. And just because one made the first mistake doesn't give the other a free pass to make an even bigger one. In the end, the lesson is, if you don't want someone, say no. But don't humiliate, because that only turns the no into fuel for war. And if you're rejected with or without humiliation, have some dignity. Go live your life, because insisting and slandering doesn't put you on top. It only drags you deeper. Now I want to know from you, if you were in her place, would you have said it like she did? And if you were in his place, would you have swallowed it or fought back? Leave a comment, because this story is worth discussing. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more stories like this. I'll see you in the next video.